And welcome, Rooster Boosters, to Rooster Booster time. I'm the big guy, Scott Ferrara. That's Mike the Grand Poobah Parazzini. And on this edition of the show, we're going back to Cali. Champagne Cup time, baby. Mikey, how you doing?
I'm pumped up for some champagne rugby, some Champagne Cup rugby. Got our first. I played my first match of the year this past weekend, so I'm ready for some more rugby.
What was the score of that match?
It was a scrimmage, so we didn't really keep score, but we all know the bootleggers beat Albany Law. No, we won. Don't you worry.
Good job, Mikey. Shout out to the Albany Bootleggers at Albany Bootleggers on social media. Check them out with the funny memes. But yeah, we are in LA tonight. Very excited. Listen, it's going to be a fun match. We're going to go through the roster soon, but just looking at the rosters, man, they stacked the decks for both teams. I think both teams didn't do what we normally see in the MLR. If somebody's crossing the coast, sometimes we see reserves getting time. Sometimes we see new guys getting time. This seems to me like this rivalry is heating up. What do you think, Mike?
Absolutely. Everyone's trying to bring out the big guns in this game. Nothing is going to, I don't think anything is going to be left on the table. And it looks like everyone wants to win this for also too, for Rugby New York. This is their game going into the bye. This, sets the tone for the rest of the season. They want to do well. A rocky start at times, but overall good. You want to go into the bye with the win. And then with LA, they're climbing up. They're in the top 3 right now in the West, I think. And so, they were picked to be number 1. Now they were floundering at the bottom. Now they're up to, the top 3. They want to continue to be there. And, to take a scalp like, Rugby New York is a big one. So either way, both teams, want this win.
We debated at the Rugby Rant about, I want to say 3 weeks ago, are there too many cups? And to be honest, for me, I think there's the right amount of cups. And this is one of those cups that makes sense. LA versus New York for the Champagne Cup. I'm a Big Ten football guy. I think out of, the 16 teams in the Big Ten, there's like 33 different trophies they play for in the Big Ten, which is crazy to me. But that's what makes it fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, we have.
This is why I'm excited to play LA.
Yeah, we have the Six Nations, and that's a tournament unto itself in, European rugby. But, you got the Calcutta Cup, you got the Triple Crown, you have the Garibaldi Cup, you have the Cadita Cup. There's all these other, the Dottie Weir, trophy. You have all these different trophies within it. No one's complaining about that having too many trophies. It's great to have, something to play for.
No, absolutely, and this is what makes it fun. This is what makes you guys get amped up. And Mike, can you risk the 23 spot?
Oh, you break it up there, but all right. Before we do the teams, Jason Zimmerman, number 1 fan, saying hi. So we'll do the teams right now. We'll start off with LA. DeJustice Sears Duro at 1, Joey Tuafe at 2, and Charlie Abel at 3. Luke White and Dave Dennis are your locks. Nathan Duhot and Christian Poviduin are your 6 and 7. And then some guy named Hanko is playing 8 for LA. Never heard of him. Maybe watch him. 9, you have Harrison Goddard. 10, you have RNY. 11, you have Adam Chanel. 12, you got Will Chambers. 13, Bill Meeks. Adam Jedi. Oh, damn. I'm sorry. They've messed this up. I messed this up a little bit. 12, you got Will Weeks. 13, Ben Lasange. 14, John Rybert. 15, Jordan Trader. That's rounding out your 15. Andrew Tulau, Les Libalani Makin, Marco Filippi, Corey Thomas, Zach Bonte, Krillik Kama, Toss Smith, Luke Barton, and Tom Mitchell are your bench. So pretty stacked team. Boo,
yeah,
boo
we got
Hanko, Jason.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They're boo for Hanko. Very disappointed with Pago's season-ending injury to his hamstring. Yeah. This is the matchup we really wanted to see: Pago versus Hanko, the two guys who essentially switched teams this year. Both are very good loose forwards. Both love to run the ball. both love to make big hits. Unfortunately, as we know, Pago won't be playing for the rest of the season. But interestingly enough, Christian Rodriguez, who has been getting a lot of playing time recently, not being a reserve for this match. And we'll see. I think it's one of those things where LA, a lot of their guys are coming back from injury, so they're getting guys. So I think guys like Christian aren't going to get as much playing time. Ben Lesage gave us fits last year playing for the Toronto Arrows. He's a very, very good counter kick ball player. So watch those box kicks we might be doing with Connor McManus might come back to bite us in the butt. So talk about the Rooney match day 23, Mike.
All right, so for starting off in our front three, we've got Nick Mayhew, Caleb Geiger, and Kalo Tuluma. So that's your front three. Nate Brakely at 4, Charlie Hewitt at 5, Will Tucker at 6, Ben Bonasso at 7, Kara Pryor at 8. Then 9 is Connor McManus, 10 Sam Windsor, 11 Ed Fidow, 12 Jason Emery, 13 Fossey, 14 Andrew Coe, 15 is Troy Lockyer. And then our bench is Wilton Rabolo, Chance Wenglusi, Zach Talafos, Dylan Fawcett, Joe Basser, Andy Ellis, Jack Heighton, and Quinn Nawadi. So that, it's a very stacked team for, rugby in New York as well. And interesting enough, you got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, essentially, front row players ish. Joe is, a Lucy, but, 4 front rowers in our lineup on the bench. It'll be interesting to see, if they put Wilton in at 2, Dylan in at 2. Are they going to move Dylan out to, be more dynamic as, possibly a loose forward, possibly an 8 or something like that. So I think this is a great team. I'm liking this lineup. It's definitely going to be interesting.
I think that's exactly what you're going to see. You notice Brendan O'Connor, dude, I think has been started or reserved for every match so far. And needs a break. I he had a little bit of I have a feeling Butch is going to come in this loose for in my opinion. The team next week on the bye week, so I'm sure we'll be seeing him against New England. That gives guys like Charlie Hewitt, Nate Brakely, and Will Tucker a bit of a break, which is good because they've kind of been running lead. As far as the backs, we see Connor McManus getting another start for him this week. Andy Ellis on the bench. I like this play. Connor has been getting the ball out very quickly. He's about just a little bit quicker than Connor Buckley as far as getting the ball out, although I feel Connor Buckley's a little bit better of a kicker.
And we lost Scott for a hot second. I think he's going, between, the merits of, having, Connor McManus versus Connor Buckley. I think, we know what Connor McManus could do. We say, Connor Buckley definitely, a great pocket kicker, could definitely get, those, that Caterpillar ruck in going and take advantage of that box kick. Connor definitely is, switch with that. And here he comes. Are you back?
I'm back. Anyway, I don't know when I cut off, but I had a whole diatribe.
Yeah, you were talking. I was talking about, the difference between, Connor McManus and Connor Buckley and how Connor Buckley's better at the box kick.
Yeah, I believe Connor's better at the box kick. Connor McManus gets the ball out just a split second quicker, and that's really more of just experience. Connor Buckley will definitely get there, but I think playing a team like LA that's going to score and want to score a lot, we won't utilize the box kick as much as we're going to utilize getting the ball to the backs.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to see some of these, those covering kicks. Maybe I would love to see a 50-22. I don't know if that's something that we, this team works on all that often. I think, we've definitely tried for it. I think a few times with Sam Windsor and Jack. I think, the key to this game is going to be keeping LA on their toes and on the back heels. And we definitely have that with, our 2 centers in, Jason and Fossey. They are hard hit and hard charging centers. So they'll keep pushing the line back. I just think a lot of this game is going to come down to pressure. And if we can apply the pressure to keep LA off their toes.
Well, last year to get the win against LA, we really ground them down with our forward play. And I think Kalolo coming back in the lineup, in my opinion, he's our best ball handling prop that we've had. He pushes the pile. Same thing with Caleb Geiger. I think, again, this is one of those matches where you put in Caleb Geiger because he's going to go forward. He's going to get more experience against a great LA team. And it gives Butch a little bit time to recover, a little bit time to get his wits about him, because you know Butcher is going to start against New England.
Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, I think we could see what Caleb does. He scored last week against Old Glory in what was it, a magnificent line out ball and drive. So we he's got the same skill set that Dylan does, maybe not nearly as refined. And so why not give Dylan a little bit of rest in a game that we know we really want him to come out in, and let's put Caleb up against LA, a strong LA team, but still, a team where he could still get some reps in and continue to improve on.
Absolutely. And it's one of those things where we saw last week, I think Caleb really struggled throwing the line out, and that's okay. Remember, this is only his second year, third year playing rugby. So he's going to struggle with the line out. I always feel that's the hardest thing for a hooker to get straight when they first start is the line out throws. Butch is really good at it, but you can't get better at it unless you're in a pressure situation playing rugby. And again, this match, just like the OG's match, fits in with the philosophy to get Caleb Geiger time. I truly feel with Caleb and Wilton Rabolo, next year, maybe we'll see our buddy Butch starting at 8-man instead of the number 2.
That would definitely be interesting. He definitely had, those skills. I don't think he's going to want all those tries that he gets from, those driving mauls off of lineouts. He's going to miss that all of a sudden. And he's going to go, what the hell, why am I not scoring every other game? But it would definitely be interesting. I think, between the fact that, Wilton can play basically any front row position is great for us, because he's definitely a guy that, is strong, strong in any of those, and can continue to perform. Caleb will only get better. And then, I think you just have that rock that is, Dylan. And so to have 3 potential hookers, it's not an issue that you really necessarily, are too worried about.
Yep. And, talking about the back line, Fasi Fuatai has been taking over essentially as defensive captain, rallying those guys to get where they need to be, to cover those gaps, to get more men on each side. And I think we're seeing them get better and better as the time goes on. But it comes down to the same thing we talk about, I think, 3 seasons in a row, which is individual tackling skill. We have to stop going high. The amount of times I heard the chicken dance last week, because the fly half scored, they call him the chicken, just too many times. We're letting them go. We're going high. We're not making our wrap-up tackles, and we're more focused on trying to hit them high and throw them down than making a tackle that's going to stop the momentum. And I think that's what we need to get back to. I think our positioning is good, but the execution of the actual tackles need to be better.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong in that. You looked at where they were getting their tackles. It seemed like everyone was, they were like stand-up tackles. Some of the guys, were doing some great judo moves, but then, you've got a few others that are just doing like stand-up tackles where they're wrapping up and hugging or getting up, up high in the chest. It's like, come on, guys. This is rugby 101. Get low, cheek to cheek, drive, hook a leg, drive through and, execute the next play, get up and get ready. Don't try and go for like the strip. Don't try and go to, force the poach or do some judo move, good, solid, fundamental tackle, and then keep on moving. And it just seemed like we weren't doing that at all last week. And so hopefully it's something that they worked on this week and they can improve.
Absolutely. We also have Jack Heighton back in the lineup. Seems like he's good to go, although he's not getting the start. I got to be honest, the weather looked gorgeous in LA from all the social media I saw Rooney putting up, and Sam Windsor was slotting them from every side of the pitch. So Andy Ellis was also slotting them too. So I do think having Sam in as the starter this match is a key. You want to ease in Jack back from his injuries. You don't want to just throw a guy in there, especially again in a match where you're going into a bye week and then you're playing against one of your biggest rivals afterwards. So like the fact that he's getting on the field, like the fact that he's not starting and he's still getting a little bit of a rest, but hopefully we'll see Jack out there in the last 20 minutes slot some conversions to push our lead higher.
Yeah, right now it's looking like it says it's 69 degrees out in LA. So
Nice.
pretty nice, pretty warm. It's gonna be, it's gonna probably get a little bit cooler. It says 57 at night. They say there's a gale watch right now. I don't know if if that's just for LA County where that is. So maybe there's a little bit of wind right now. But yeah, you were talking. It looked nice in those those Instagram and Facebook posts. Man, you could really tell that we were an East Coast, Northeast Coast team because there were some pale bodies when they went to the beach today. Damn, yeah.
I mean, guys,
pale,
guys like Joe Basser. Yeah, unfortunately, guys like Joe Basser, hopefully they were wearing sunscreen. They're going to be hurting tomorrow, that's for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, definitely, some sort of sunscreen so they're not hurting today, too. Because there's, nothing worse than, being red and having to go into a scrum.
So I wonder if that's going to affect the performance tonight. Honestly, Rooney hasn't played a match at home that has been 69, 70 degrees. And it's just a different type of atmosphere to be playing in when you're practicing constantly in the weather we've had in New York, which has been wet, cold, and rainy. Sometimes your body doesn't have time to adjust to those other factors, and it does make a difference. So I'm wondering if what we're going to see as far as, I don't want to say it's endurance, but sometimes you play in that heat and your body's just not used to it.
Yep.
And it zaps your energy a little quicker. Am I wrong, Mike?
Yeah, you're not absolutely, you see the same stuff that happens when we go down into, Austin, even though, it gets wet and humid and hot and just disgusting. And all of a sudden, boom, you think you're fine, 1 minute, next, you're sucking wind, wondering, why the hell it's so hot. Hopefully it shouldn't be too warm that this should be an issue, but hopefully, going on later in the season, it doesn't become something where we have to go down south or anything like that. And just, sucks the life out of us.
Yep. And, hopefully we're going to get, this win against LA. We're going to retain the Champagne Cup, and we're going into the bye week a little bit hyped up, and the boys will get a little bit of a rest.
Yep.
Before we go to our score predictions, just want to shout out our buddy Phil Harris over at the Jacks Rangers. Follow them at Jacks Rangers on all platforms. Our buddy did a mullet for charity. So far, he raised, I believe, $854 a mullet. That blue. So he went with red, bleach, blonde, and blue. Take a look at their social media. And apparently, if you guys can raise another $146, he's also going to get it braided. It's going to, I believe, Massachusetts Youth Rugby, which is obviously a great organization. We're looking to grow the game, and you grow it through Youth Rugby. So any Rooster Boosters, if you feel like it, send them a donation. Say it's from the Rooster Boosters. We love to see them in a couple weeks. And hopefully we'll get to see those braids in Philip Harris's hair. Mike, what's your score prediction?
So I said last week with Nick, or on Tuesday with Nick, I said, Rugby New York by 3. I'm sticking to it. I think it's going to be a tight game. I think it's going to be a great game. It's going to be one of those, good old fashioned New York, agita inducing, blood pressure raising, heart attack, having games for us. But I think we pull out a nice win. It's going to be, it's going to be back and forth. And I think, we'll win, pull this off. So I'm saying Rugby New York by 3.
And I wasn't on the show on Tuesday, unfortunately, but I'm going to go with Rugby New York by 5, and I'm being generous. Honestly, if it's by 3, if it's by 1, I don't care. Just win, baby. But I'm going by 5, and I'll call that a blowout, in my opinion, against LA. And for those of you that are watching, just so you know, Tuesday, we're going to be taking off for the bye week. We're going to come back the week after on Tuesday. Hopefully, we'll have a guest. Honestly, with the guys playing tonight and traveling tomorrow, we didn't really want to press anybody as far as getting a guest, and we want to let these guys relax a little bit. But thank you so much for watching the show. Go Rugby New York. I'm the big guy, Scott Ferrara. That's Mike the Grand Poobah Parazzini. And we'll see you in about a week and a half, baby.
See ya.